everybody. Welcome to the Geriatric Millennials. This is Beth.
And this is Jayme.
And we're just two oldish, youngish ladies talking about things that embarrass us, but that shouldn't, because we're humans and in our 40s. So this actually gets me. Like, I wish I didn't get embarrassed over like stupid little things, but I get so embarrassed sometimes.
This is cringe adjacent.
It is very cringe adjacent. And sometimes worse because it's not even a bad thing. Like cringe sometimes isn't awful because it is inherently like not great.
Yeah. I am so curious if we're going to have overlap on any of our ideas on
what's embarrassing.
On what's embarrassing, but shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It just shouldn't be embarrassing, but like it is because of, I guess, the culture we live in.
Or
I don't know.
Our own personal whatever. Because a lot of this I'm realizing is not embarrassing at all. It's just like normal life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you have. I don't know what you have.
Give me one. What do you got?
Okay. You know what the first one was that came to my mind?
What?
Panty lines.
Oh, yeah.
Why is it embarrassing to have panty lines? Because what does it even mean? It means you're like, somebody like knows that you're wearing underwear.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about like when you're wearing leggings, for example, and, different underwear like cuts in a little more. And as I've gotten older, it doesn't take as much elastic to really make a dent. Things are just not as firm as they once were in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like my butt cheeks are just softer. And so my underwear makes a bigger indent. And so then you can see it.
Yeah.
And so I have, switched to this underwear that I think is fantastic because I don't get wedgies like I used to. And I've talked about this before. It's the vanishing edge, blah, blah, blah. So the panty lines don't technically show really very much. And I personally, I don't like it. I don't like how it looks. But it's also kind of embarrassing for some reason. Like if you're wearing a dress that's fitted, like you don't want to see where your underwear is. And I'm like, but why? Because it really just means you're wearing underwear. Like it's not like, do I want people to think something different that I'm not wearing? I don't know. It's just, what is up with that?
I don't know.
What's the big deal?
It's not. But
it's not, but do you know what I mean?
I do, but I think too, we were raised in an era, like when we came into being women, it was the era of the thong. So it was just like, yeah.
But I don't like thong. I don't like that feeling of that butt
I'm not
floss.
saying I'm not saying that's the way. I just think that that's like ingrained in us of like,
I'll still wear it occasionally, especially if I'm wearing a dress or if I'm wearing Spanx or whatever. But I don't like thongs. I don't like that feeling.
I'm a panty line girl. Okay. Because like I'm not having anything shoved up anywhere, and I'm going to be in my grandma panties, happy as a clam, fully covered. Boom. Roasted. No. Okay.
But,
so one that gets me, when you're having a heavy flow and you need a larger pad, you need an overnighter or something like that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, whenever I go buy those at the grocery store and I have a teenage boy checker.
You get embarrassed.
I get like, it gives me the ick.
Do you think that person's embarrassed?
In my head, this is residual from being a teenager and having to go buy my own supplies. It just is this thing of like, oh my gosh, now they're being like, I wonder how much flow she has, which is not logical. Nobody thinks that. Nobody cares.
No, I don't think they do.
No, I know this, but for whatever reason, my 16-year-old self that's had to go through the line when there was no self-checkout, and it was only some dude that was 19 and I thought looked cool, and he was checking out. Checking me out, not checking me out, but checking me out.
Checking
and
out
he's like,
in the check
he's
stand.
Like, look at these Kotex, ma'am. You having a hard day? It's just like,
it just
stuck with me.
This reminds me of a story because I grew up during the developmental years in a very, very small remote community in Belize. And so everybody knew everybody.
Yeah.
And I might have told this story before, but I will never forget it because I was so embarrassed to buy pads from the corner store with the man that knew me and knew I was having my period because why else would I be buying pads?
Yep.
And I was so mortified. I wanted his wife to check me out. And he was like, she wasn't available. And I was just so embarrassed. So you know what they do in this community, or what they used to do? They would put it in a brown paper bag.
But that was the only thing they put in a brown paper bag?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like you still knew exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing they put in a brown paper bag.
Walking home.
Isn't that so funny? So I think it was part of the culture was just kind of like that, like
modesty maybe,
and shit. Like I don't want to use the word like shame, but it was kind of like this thing that was not talked about, I mean, they covered up the pads with a paper bag. Like, why? It's a store.
Yeah.
Like when you bought it, but it was to protect this from people from seeing, to know that you're on your period. Like, what? Why would that be embarrassing? Every woman in the history of like humanity and on this globe
has pretty much had it. Yeah.
For the most part, has had to deal with that. Like, it's half the population has a period.
Yeah. But we still don't like talking about it, especially, you know.
I know.
Okay.
Similarly, bodily functions. Just keep it there for a moment. Why is farting so embarrassing?
I don't know, but it's humiliating.
It is. But why? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Again, this is 100% of humanity daily, on a daily basis, passes gas.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, whatever.
I'm a lady.
You fart. Everyone does.
Ew, farting is such a gross word, too.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Gross,
it's a gross
agree
thing.
with you. I am also very embarrassed. Again, had another one of those incidents.
Jayme, in public?
What can I say? I have gas sometimes. Like, it shouldn't be embarrassing, but it is.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, but that's amazing that it's happened now a few times.
That
I shouldn't say anything because it's going to happen to me now.
Yeah, it is. I can't wait. I'm just going to say, I can't wait because I want to hear the story when it happens.
I will deny. Because it's never happened. It's fine. It was my shoe.
It was the chair. It was just the chair.
I don't know what's going on. Okay, I have something similar though. It's another buying thing. Like, so my cat Fratelli is a little constipated, and so she's been that way since she was a baby. And I took her to the vet last year, and she's just like, hey, you know, she got some hard poops in here. I'm like, what can we do? She's like, you're gonna need to buy her some Miralax, and you're gonna give her like a half a teaspoon a day with each meal, and it will help with the stuff. And I remember going to the grocery store and buying the Miralax, and I just want to be like, hey guys, it's for my cat. And I'm an adult woman. I don't need to, it's fine. Nobody cares. But for whatever reason, I'm like, I'm not constipated. It's my cat, which is even worse in all honesty. But it was just like so in that that's what I wanted to share with the world. Like, this isn't for me.
You're like, by the way, everyone in this pharmacy,
it's for the cat. I don't need this. I don't need it. It's for the cat. And the best part is when I got home to a home that I live by myself with said cat and don't have tons of people over here all the time. The vet had given me like a prescription label to put on the bottle to know how much to give the cat. I put it actually on the bottle so that anybody that would they come into my house and be in my medicine cabinet and see the Miralax, they would be like, Beth's constipated. Like, no, it's Fratelli. So.
Did they put Fratelli's name on it?
It has her name on it. So I was just like, that's right. That's her problem, not my problem.
I have to just laugh for a second. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Okay. Another thing that's embarrassing that shouldn't be embarrassing is like just stumbling.
Oh yeah.
Like, so what? Like, you just tripped a little when you're walking. Why is it embarrassing? It's like you look around, like it shouldn't be a big deal. It shouldn't be like it. It does. But I immediately look around, like who saw that? Who noticed? Like, just stumbling anywhere. Why is that embarrassing? It's just you just have a body that just stumbles every now and then. What? I mean, you didn't see that curb or whatever.
It's fine.
There was a rock, a pebble, or I misjudged. Just air, right?
It's fine.
A leaf. I mean, whatever. Occasionally it happens, and it's embarrassing, and it shouldn't be.
Okay. This one is not embarrassing, but I don't know why I feel awkward when I pump gas, because I'm the type of person, like, I take pumping gas safety very seriously. I will not be on my cell phone. I get out of my car. I discharge my static on the car. Like I touch metal. You're
very responsible.
Very responsible. Like, I saw somebody that had their engine on while pumping gas, which was terrifying.
No,
I was like, don't do that. Anyway, so I'll start pumping the gas, and then I just stand there outside, because even if it's cold, I'm outside. I'm not in my car, because you can have a buildup of static electricity and then you blow yourself up. Is that real? I don't know, but it feels real.
I think it is.
So I literally just stand there, and then I'm looking around, and then it's always awkward when you you look in and then you make eye contact with someone else that's pumping, and you're like, we're pumping. I don't know. It's just awkward. So I just don't like it.
I cannot tell you how many times I have been startled, scared out of my mind when I'm pumping gas, and all of a sudden the screen that's out there has a commercial that's so loud that just starts talking. And it just, I know, it startles me so bad. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, it's just commercial on the screen. But
that's also embarrassing to get startled.
it is. Shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be. The
Totally
natural
is.
reflex
Right?
keeps us alive.
That's right.
Thank you.
Okay, here's another one. When you have food in your teeth,
Mm-hmm.
everyone eats. Everyone is, well, most people have teeth.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a normal thing to happen.
Yeah.
And
of course.
I take it upon myself to tell someone
Mm-hmm.
when I see that, just
Mhm.
because I know that it's embarrassing. And it shouldn't be embarrassing, but it is.
Yeah.
And it's embarrassing when you get home after having a full conversation with someone and you're going to the bathroom, washing your hands, look in the mirror, and you have like a giant black thing in your tooth, and you're like, why wasn't I told?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't somebody tell me this?
I feel like you're calling me out because I did that to you once.
You did?
Yeah, when we were first hanging out eons ago, we went and got like.
I already forgot.
I think I've shared this before, but we went and we got
Let's see how much
smoothies
I held on to
together,
this.
and you got a berry smoothie, and you had stuff in your teeth, but we kept talking, but it's like it was like you're drinking a blueberry shake. It's just going to keep happening, and then I didn't really just tell you on the way out, and you called me on my Razor flip phone, and we're like, Beth, how could you let me leave the restaurant like that? I have stuff all in my teeth. And I'm like,
I think I remember
I'm
this
so
now.
sorry. And I never did. Ever since then, I always tell people, because I will never do someone dirty like that again.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
Lesson learned.
Yeah. But why is it embarrassing though?
It
It
shouldn't
shouldn't be.
It should just be one of the things like, oh, you got something there. Okay. Like, it shouldn't be like, oh my gosh. Like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Another thing that I find very, very embarrassing is folding my underwear in front of other people. I will not do it. So it's like,
You don't want them seeing that.
it's weird. it's not like I have like crazy underwear, like one way or the other. It's not crazy sexy.
Yeah.
And it's not like crazy, like period underwear that you're like, ma'am, you need to throw those away.
Yeah.
It's just normal, everyday, clean underwear. But if like somebody's at my house and I want to fold laundry, I just won't. I won't do that. And that's why I would never have a laundry service. Not that I can afford it, but sometimes I see those like fluff and fold places, and I'm like, oh, that'd be so
Like,
nice.
absolutely not.
I'm like, I'm not letting someone touch my underwear. Absolutely not.
Oh, that reminds me, we had a clothesline outside most of the time in
Mhm.
Belize that we would use. And so, I mean, you got to hang that up
Mm-hmm.
for all to see. Not that you have very many neighbors that are close by,
Yeah.
but it's there. I mean, you see it. I've seen so many people's underwear because it's on the line.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that.
I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Why is it embarrassing when you mispronounce a word?
I don't know. You know me. I mispronounce all the words.
But maybe it depends on the context or the environment. But when you mispronounce something that you've been saying, for example, like I've been saying it this way for so long because I think that's how my mom said it, and I just thought that's how you said it, and then like later as an adult realize that I was mispronouncing it. It's embarrassing. It shouldn't be. It's just
No.
language.
The worst is when you're talking to someone, you say the word and then they later say the word and pronounce it in a different way. And you're like, mother trucker, is it me or is it you? Because it's like, I feel like it's me. And now I don't
But
ever
now
want
I'm
to say
not
the
sure.
word again.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to have to go online and look it up in the dictionary and do the little play button where it like pronounces it for you.
I know. The other day, so I've got this drilled into my head now, Worcestershire. I
Oh,
have
yeah.
listened to it. I've listened to Google pronounce it so many times so that I say it the right way,
Mhm.
because that's a tricky one. It's
Mhm.
really tricky. How do you say it?
Worcester. I don't think that's right. but
I don't
that's how
think it
I said
is. It doesn't. That's not how Google says Worcestershire.
Worcester. I don't
Nope.
know. Listen, in my head, it sounds perfect. So there we
How
go.
many times are you going to say that word anyways?
Never.
Okay.
Never. Okay. This one is really embarrassing and I try to never do it, but it's when you're like eating out at a restaurant or grabbing like drive-through or something and the food is made incorrectly and you have to get it fixed.
Yeah.
And I've only done this at one restaurant. It was at Applebee's where I got this like, and at the time I was like gluten-free and vegan. It was a mess. And they did have an option on their menu for this like gluten-free pasta and blah, blah, blah. Worst thing of my life that I've ever eaten. I took one bite and I was like, this is so disgusting. And it was poorly made. Like didn't look good. It didn't look like the picture. It was awful. And the manager just kind of walked by and he's like, did you like that? And I was like, no. And he's like, we can get you something else. And I felt so unbelievably guilty that this like $100 million company, Applebee's, would have to maybe take a loss on $1 worth of pasta because I didn't like it because they made it disgustingly. And so I very rarely will send food back or even say anything if it's wrong, unless it's like, obviously, like I've gotten stuff before where I don't eat animal flesh. And so if like they give me chicken or something, I'll be like, hey, I can't have this, but I just hate it so much. And then I think they hate me and it's just the worst thing ever.
Sorry, for 1 second, you said don't eat, but I thought you said donate.
Oh yeah. No.
And I was
Please don't donate animal flesh.
Yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? Oh,
yeah. So
that's too funny.
I just hate sending food back.
Yeah.
It's just awkward.
It is. It's very awkward. Somewhat related to that is the whole tipping etiquette thing.
Oh yeah.
I find myself getting embarrassed because I don't know in certain situations what's appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to make sure that I am being appropriate and tipping appropriately. But when I don't know what the expectations are, or it feels embarrassing to me.
Yeah.
I don't
agree.
like that.
There's the one-off tipping stuff too. That's just like, I didn't think I had to tip you.
And there's more and more of that
yeah.
showing up these days of places that are giving an option for a tip that I was like, I don't know what I'm tipping for, or just, I just wasn't expecting it. And so then I'm like, is this just I was going to say a glitch. Is this just a thing that you just like, I don't know. So when I get caught off guard in regards to tipping etiquette, it's embarrassing to me.
Yes.
And maybe it should be, but I feel like it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, but it is. It's just awkward.
Yeah.
It makes it awkward. It makes the whole thing awkward.
Yeah.
Okay. The last thing that I have is very awkward and embarrassing. So I hate picking up prescriptions at like my local pharmacy because it's in a Target. So it's always busy. There's always a line. There's very few times I walk up to pick up an order where there's not like 20 people behind me and people in front of me and it's a whole thing. And there's literally no privacy. Like there's zero privacy. There's no HIPAA at that point. I don't know if that's a real HIPAA thing, but it doesn't feel like there's any privacy. And some of the texts are good and they'll be like, hey, is this the right thing? And other texts will yell out your prescription to the world. And I cannot stand it when I'm in line and get up to the counter.
You're like, that's my business only.
It's my business. First of all, I don't even want to give my birthday loud. Like, I feel like that's weird. So I'm like trying to be kind of quiet and they're like, what? And I'm like, oh my gosh. Stop. So they get my prescription. And then there always seems to be one person that inches up closer than they need to be while I'm at the counter.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you need to wait.
My space.
I want to kick my leg behind me like a donkey or something to be like, get away.
I don't want you hearing my private business.
Right? And then depending on the tech, there's this one person that I normally go to. He's so nice and he always just shows me this is correct and this is the amount. I'm like, perfect. Because I don't want people knowing my business.
Have you ever considered switching pharmacies?
I'm not allowed to based on my healthcare insurance. I have to go to this place. It's a thing. It's fine. I will deal with it.
They don't even have a drive-through.
No.
Drive-throughs are great.
I know. It's just so freaking awkward and it's just embarrassing.
I hear you.
And the worst is when I had to pick up all of my stuff from my colon cleanse and they're like, do you need the...
Awesome.
I'm just like, everybody can see my jug.
This from the lady who was like afraid that people would think she was constipated from Miralax.
And now they know, oh, she's going to be crapping her brains out for the next 24 hours. Ha ha. Like, oh my gosh. This is so embarrassing. I'll never be the same.
Oh, why are we still getting embarrassed at this age?
I don't know. Humans, but I don't like it. Maybe I'll just start proudly like walking through aisles with my Pepto-Bismol and my Miralax and like, yay.
Yeah. I think maybe like that exposure therapy is good. We should go together and be just like, yep.
Look at what I'm buying.
I'm at that age, I guess. I don't know.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that type of exposure therapy. I'll die.
Hey, if you're enjoying this podcast and would like to support our show, you can share episodes with your friends and family, follow us on Instagram at the Geriatric Millennials, or leave us a positive review and rating, all which help us to grow. Our theme music was created by the Finley Ghost, so check out their latest album now. Thank you so much.